Portland Boychoir does much more than provide singing entertainment. We nurture the self-esteem and depth of character of all the boys we train, starting as young as 6 years old. My name is David York, and as the artistic director for Portland Boychoir, I invite you to watch and listen to this brief video to learn more about our program.
My son was 9 years old when he started. He's been in the choir now for 9 years. It was a wonderful experience for him. We just moved into the area. 9-year-old boy. He had been singing since the day he was born. One of these guys who just has music in his gene code. It was a real joy for him to coming to a new community, to find a musical family is really what it's become.
I am the mother of Nathan, who is 10 years old, and he sings in the performing choir. Nate started with this organization when he was only 6. He was very young, he didn't read yet, but he loved to sing. When he first started, he couldn't even look you in the eye and sing. He had to turn and face the back of the room. He was really fortunate to have learned about an opportunity to sing at the Davis Cup. Through the boy choir, they contacted Dr. York looking for young boys who would be willing to sing at the opening of the tennis tournament. And so we auditioned, and lo and behold, he made it. And he was out there, center court, and sang God Bless America in front of 10,000 people, a cappella. And you know, he was not nervous at all.
I started singing with the Portland Boychoir when I was 13, and I kept singing until I was 18 in the organization. Quickly got into that voice change time. In retrospect, I think it was really nice to have the support of all these guys that are either going through the same thing, will be soon going through the same thing, or have gone through the same thing. I was just glad it was there for me at a formative time in my development. I'm actually a music major now in college. I see a direct line from boy choir. Literacy, the choral technique, and the ensemble singing, great tools that will serve you well for the rest of your career.
Well, it was a great surprise, actually, to discover how well they sang and how disciplined they were. So for professionals, being able to walk into a situation that is organized and disciplined and where the parts are really learned is essential, and we don't often find that working with children. I think it was remarkable that even after the children had been to school on a very long day, that they could sustain listening and responding, correcting all sorts of things, pitches, breath, even interpretation after a 2-hour rehearsal. And they didn't fidget, they were totally professional in that sense, and they didn't exhibit any sense of tiredness that children at 9:30 at night usually do. Yeah. It's very rare to find a boys' choir in particular who sings the way these children do.
Working with boys, they grow up fast, and a really good boy choir, there's a small window of time when they are of greatest value, and their peak singing years are ahead of them. When they're about 10, when their brains are big enough and they've had adequate training that they can read the music well, but their voices are still unchanged. And so they have to have 3 or 4 years of training before that peak year happens. And then if we're lucky, we get 2 years out of them, but you know, it's more likely not. It's a year or so that they have that really amazingly sweet sound and the full range of their musical capabilities. So that's why we start so young. At age 6 is when we most prefer starting, and so anywhere between age 6 and 9 is a good place to start. We train for literacy and vocal production, choral singing technique, eye contact with the director, you know, just the fundamentals of being on stage. Social skills, how to stand still, you know, is a challenge when you're 7. But when you're 7, you're not really interested in a 4 or 5 year vision. Their parents might be, and certainly we are. They're just interested in having a good time. So as the director, I have my attention on 2 parallel worlds going on. One is the immediate experience that the boys are having this day. Are they having fun? Then there's also a long-term vision. I'm 50, and so I'm in a 15-year vision. I'm committed to this organization to my retirement. And in that 15 years, I intend to see the boy choir grow into one of the premier performing forces in the city, and to set up a large enough and healthy enough and robust organization that it'll be in the city for many, many years, even after I retire. And that long-term vision includes a premier boy choir that includes sopranos, altos, tenors, and basses who have graduated through the boy choir program. So it's a young choir, high school-aged tenors and basses. And then a feeder program that prepares for that choir. And that feeder program starts with our youngest being a prep program for boys 6 to 9. And those boys learn to read music at the same time they're learning to read words, so that they will have real mastery in music literacy by the time they're teenagers. It's one of our core values is joy. And so is this experience literally and figuratively singing back to them, such that they are inspired by their participation, that their memories and their experiences of being in boy choir affect their lives.